season got into full swing last weekend. All three supergroups were in action, and we'll have all the highlights for you right here. Hey folks, this is CAF TV. Welcome, I'm Alex Bastiavansky. Also on this week's program, Toronto, Croatia is one of the most historic soccer clubs in all of North America, and we'll have them here in the studio to discuss their move to CAF this year and take a walk down memory lane as we talk about some of their incredible accomplishments over the years. But first, highlights, lots of them. Last year, Epic FC ruled the under-14 supergroup, taking both the provincial and national championship titles in the process. Well, this year, that squad is playing up a year in the under-16 group. Saturday, they took on new CAF members Pace FC, who quickly discovered just how powerful this young Epic squad truly is. CAF Leica Supergroup highlights now, brought to you by Leica Sports. Leica, your passion, our commitment. Okay, CAF juggernaut Epic FC taking on newcomers Pace FC. This one was a painful debut for Pace, unfortunately. Ronaldo Marshall ruled the day for Epic. Here off the corner kick, he flicks it home to make it 1-0 Orange. Pace keeper Zach Vesnever was under fire all day, but these here were the saves of the week in all of CAF on Andre Vilcini, not once but twice. Absolutely gorgeous saves by the Pace keeper. Nothing that he could do about this one, though, unfortunately. It's Marshall. Again, the guy was just a beast in this game. It's 2-0 for Epic. And then Marshall with the goal of the week here as he just toys with the Pace defenders. And whoops, top shelf. Just too good, this guy. 3-0 for Epic. Ronaldo with the hat trick already as we move into the second half, where it got no better for Pace. Marshall to Christian Quattrapani, the name that just rolls off the tongue. Epic dominant, up 4-0. And shortly after, it's Justin Picou getting sprung on the break as he dances Vesnever out of his jockstrap, and 5-0 for the defending national champions. And then it's Marshall adding his fourth on the day to complete the route. He was so good. Unstoppable was Mr. Ronaldo on this day. 6-0 Epic, your final. Afterwards, the man of the match sheepishly admitting that he had a pretty good game, in his words. But being the good guy that he is, he gave credit to his teammates for the win.
It was a team effort. I couldn't have scored if I didn't get the ball from my teammates. So definitely it was a team effort. I did what I needed to do as a striker. But again, I couldn't score if it wasn't for my teammates.
Well, sticking with the under-16 division, Dragon Force Academy are no strangers to CAF, having made their debut last year. Saturday, they took the pitch against newly formed Mississauga United. And as it turned out, the new kids on the block apparently have a flair for the dramatic. Dragon Force, based out of Bradford, had their hands full with newcomers Mississauga United. And there's DFC in the sharp orange jerseys. They hit first. Maximus Martin. I apologize if I got the name wrong. The game sheets were extremely difficult to read, coaches. Anyway, beautiful goal, and it's 1-0 DFC. Second half of play, Mississauga nearly equalizes. Dante walks in tight. Alessandro Procaccini, though, getting down to make the beautiful save. But then shortly after, Giordano Mancini does equalize for United as he slides it home, and it's 1-1. DFC gets it right back, though, off the free kick. Thiago De Jesus with the all-world header. Very nice. 2-1 for the Dragon Force boys. But in the game's final minute, remember I mentioned a flair for the dramatic? Sean Costa puts it home in the dying seconds for the equalizer just before the final whistle. What a debut for United. 2-2 your final. Afterwards, Mr. Costa talked about the dramatic last-second goal and how it went down.
Ball came over from our other winger, Jacob. Goalie punched it out, not far enough, came in, took it with power, placed in the bottom corner. Really felt really good knowing we tied it. Too bad we didn't win it.
All right, ADP Academy based out of Oakville taking on Chantilly Forever out of Hamilton. ADP with a good early chance. Cameron Hall in tight. Nice save by the Chantilly goalkeeper, though. All the scoring taking place in the second half. Superstar Israel Perrin, who's being closely watched by the Jamaican national team, shows why he's kind of a big deal, smoking at home. And it's 1-0 Chantilly. And then it's Perrin in the box here, dipping and diving, gets it over to his teammate, but as it sometimes does, the goalpost gets in the way, of a good thing. Still 1-0. Then it's Perrin. Once again, deflecting it in off the corner kick this time. Nicely done, and it's 2-0 Chantilly. Late in the game, though, the ball hits off the arm of Jason Vu in the box here, so it's an ADP penalty called, and Cameron Hall knocks it home, but it wouldn't be enough. Chantilly holds on for 3 points, doubling up ADP 2-1 from the OSA Soccer Center. Welcome back to CAF TV. We move to the under 14 supergroup now. 3 games were on tap last Sunday, led off by ADP and Chantilly Forever. You could have fried an egg on your head Sunday. It was that hot, but that didn't stop the 2 squads from coming up with one of the most entertaining games of the weekend. At 32 degrees outside, but I think when you're 13, you can run in just about any type of weather. That's my take on it anyway. ADP strikes first, 10th minute. Good work here to get it inside to Cheyenne Ormani. Second crack at it goes in. Goal. And it's 1-0 for ADP. And then in the 35th minute, it's Matthew Radisova with the steal. And look at this beautiful shot here. Boom. 25 yards out. Tucks it just under the bar. Very nice. 2-0 ADP. Would they make it 3 shortly after? Mateus Mello in close, so close, but he just couldn't get his foot on it. So, ADP up by 2 heading into the second half of play. Dante walks, thinks he's got Chantilly back within 1, but no, he goes postal. Ormani nearly picks up his second in the 50th minute, but he too cannot beat the goalie's best friend. No worries, though. He does add a second marker soon after showing off a monstrous left foot here. This shot's an absolute cannon. 3-0 for ADP. That is how this contest finished up. So, the boys in white pick up the shutout. Afterwards, Cheyenne Ormani talked about the keys to success for ADP on what was an incredibly hot afternoon for soccer.
I thought that we moved the ball really well. We created lots of chances off of crosses, and we just needed that one extra foot to be put into the net.
All right, newcomers Toronto International. Sharp looking logo there, boys. Taking on London Elite, the crowd. Just trying to get a little bit of shade to cool things off a bit on this hot day. The first meeting between these new CAF members and London draws first blood on a weird one. The Toronto keeper bobbles the ball, makes an incredible save there, but then on the follow-up, Connor Millar floats it up over and in, and it's 1-0 for London Elite. Shortly after, Logan Reich, a star last year with Jenga Academy, but he gets robbed. Nice save there by the Toronto keeper. T.O. gets it back. Kai Garvey with a nice little run here. He puts it off the goalpost, but then following up is DeMar Dixon, and he makes it 1-1. London regains the lead, though, in the 36 minutes. Logan Reich, not a shock at all. He scored some of the nicest goals in CAF last year. 2-1. For London Elite. Second half now. More from London. Check out the sweet little flick by Reich to his teammate. Ultimately, Sam Barrowcliff out front scores. Nice goal. London up 3-1. And then just a minute later, it's Barrowcliff again sliding it in just past the post there. And it's 4-1 for London. 69th minute, though. Ayani Leslie with a beauty for Toronto from 20 yards out there, and he cuts the lead in half to 4-2. But then Rock Abrantes does him one better from 30 yards out. Nice goal, 5-2 London Elite. T.O. adds one more before it's all said and done. DeMar Dixon with his second of the contest, but it just wasn't enough. 5-3 London Elite, making a strong debut in the CAF Under-14 Supergroup. Reich and Barrowcliff with 2 markers each for the Blues. Dixon with a deuce for Toronto. Okay, Epic dominated the Under-14 group last year. Let's see if the new batch of Under-14s could keep up the tradition against BRI. Not a ton of fantastic highlights in this one. A bit of a sloppy game. 33rd minute. Epic strikes first. Armand Wilson knocks home the rebound after the keeper can't handle the tough hop. 1-0. Epic stayed that way heading into the second half. Epic gets chopped down in the BRI box right there, leading to the penalty call. But Matthew Plath from the spot denied by the goalpost. Just before full time, though, they get a second crack at it. Pedro Aparicio gets chopped down in the box right there. Jahari Lawrence on the spot, he takes, and this time Epic makes no mistake. That was all that Epic would need on this day. So 2-0 for the boys in orange. That's your final. Afterwards, despite the 3 points, Coach James Scaccia wasn't overly impressed with what he saw out of his boys.
Not at their best performance I've seen them play. You know, I'm just, chalking it up to hopefully it's just the heat, but typically not our style of play. Just very disappointing game for us this week, and back to the training ground on Monday, and we'll go from there. Better for performance on the next week.
Okay, before we go to break, let's take a look at the league table for all these super groups. And the under 14, Epic on top, tied with ADP and London Elite, also all getting wins on the opening weekend. Let's head to the under 16 group. Epic and Chantilly picked up wins. DSC, Mississauga United had ties on the opening weekend. All those teams with points. And in the super group, highlights coming up in the next segment. BSC with the win. Supernova, Croatia, Brampton, and Epic all ended up with ties for the opening weekend. Welcome back to CAF TV. Exciting stuff here in the studio. We've got two gentlemen from one of the most famous soccer clubs in all of North America, actually, Toronto, Croatia. And I welcome to the studio outgoing Toronto, Croatia president Joe Pavicic and the new president, Daniel Jaksic. Did I get it?
That's right.
Joe's been correcting me for the last 10 minutes or so. So, guys, welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
As I mentioned, it is exciting stuff. Toronto, Croatia, such a famous club. History going all the way back to 1956. Let's basically just start with that, then whichever one of you wants to give us some background. But tell us about Toronto, Croatia and the incredible history of this club.
Like you said, probably Toronto, Croatia is one of the best soccer clubs ever played in Canada. And with a history of 60 years, started back 1956 and never stopped playing. So there is many trophies, many history we can talk about for hours.
We can talk for hours. I know we've only got 6 minutes.
We have 6 minutes.
We wish we had a lot longer than 6 minutes.
Tell me what do you want to hear? So how many trophies,
Let's talk about, well over 20 different championships from all different levels and different leagues and tournaments from around the world, including Croatia World Tournaments that you guys have won.
We won from 3 precipitation, we won 2, and we never lost the game over there.
Yeah.
So
the most
very representing of Canadian soccer.
The most famous championship that Toronto, Croatia is known for was actually won as Toronto Metros Croatia all the way back in 1976. Now we know because we can look in the history books. For Daniel and I, it was a little before. Well, we were little kids at that point. But Joe knows all about it. Of course, the proudest moment in the history of Toronto, Croatia was when Metros Croatia won the title for the North American Soccer League back in 1976. Tell us about that and what you remember about that.
Well, that was the years when I came to Canada from Croatia. I was very young then, much younger than you are now, right? So then, at that time when we joined Metros, when we fused together with Metros, Toronto, Croatia and Metros, we made one club called Metros Croatia. So at that time when Pele came to North America, and Eusebio, who played for us.
Absolutely.
And we are so proud to have Eusebio,
one of the top 10 footballers of all time.
Probably, I remember he won, he was twice best player in Europe. Mm-hmm. I remember him watching like a little kid, how Eusebio played for Benfica. And when he comes to Toronto, and proudly he said that was 2 best clubs he ever played for.
Fantastic.
And when we're talking about, today, Toronto FC, and 10th anniversary, and we at 40 years when we won North American Championship.
So let's just explain what's going on. It's actually August 27th, really exciting stuff. Toronto, Croatia, and Metros Croatia is being honored at BMO Field by TFC for 40 years since the accomplishment of winning the 1976 championship. What do they have planned? It's going to be great.
We played actually Toronto FC played against Montreal Impact, and they attributed that game for their 10th anniversary and for 40th anniversary of Metros Croatia winning North American Championship. That year we have to, I have to mention, we beat Cosmos Palace team 3-0 on Varsity Stadium. I would never forget that.
Yeah.
That was one of the best games.
22,000 fans jammed in there.
23,000, and 5,000 people couldn't even come to the game. They were outside,
hanging over the walls.
hanging on
My
the
dad
walls.
told me all about that. I think
And
he was
that was amazing player for us, and many. We had that time 8 international players like Lukacevic, Grnja, Eusebio, then Singholz, Ivair, Marc Antonio,
I know there's so many players.
Yarushi, Bob
You don't want to
Yarushi,
miss
our
any, though.
legend.
I know.
Oh boy,
Okay,
that
so,
was.
But I did want to point out, because we've got about 1:40 left, 2 things. First of all, we've been looking at all this incredible old footage of Toronto, Croatia, going way back. This is back to the National Soccer League days before. The stands were packed back then. Thousands of fans back when they were in the NSL. Obviously, this club means so much to the community, doesn't it?
Stanley Park. I have to tell you that I have to mention because Croatian people all around the world, we had our Croatian teams. They were our ambassadors that time when we didn't have our own country. So we were trying to tell the world, here we are, if we want to be recognized. And that's how Metros Croatia come. And Toronto is a maybe center of Croatian people out of Croatia. And we had to thank Canada for giving us that opportunity as a multicultural society. And then we have to thank everybody to helping that team at that time and recognize us, and that was great. And that's a history what we brought for Toronto championship after so many years.
We're almost out of time. So obviously it's so exciting to have you guys in CAF. I know you're looking forward to growing the team in the academies through CAF. And I just want to point out to everyone watching as well, there we go, all the amazing footage you've been seeing. There was actually a documentary that Toronto Croatia made and Joe helped co-produce. And you can actually go to the Toronto Croatia website to find out more about the team, torontocroatia.com, and also to get a DVD copy if you'd like to watch the video. Guys, thanks so much for being here. We're going to do this again, and good luck in your first year in CAF, guys. Welcome back to CAF TV. So we just had a chance to talk with Toronto, Croatia and get some background on their incredible history. Well, the tradition continued Sunday evening as they made their debut in the Leica Open Supergroup. The Croats took on a squad they're familiar with from their days in the CSL, Brampton City United. Yeah, these teams have a rivalry that goes back a few years, and they get to renew it now in CAF. Croatia, actually the reigning Canadian Soccer League champions, but it's Brampton with the first golden chance. Peter Niles in the box. Croatia fans did not like that call, and for good reason. And that happened a couple seconds after he got touched, if at all. Brampton keeper Christian Montero takes it with authority, and that makes it 1-0 B-Town. Second half now, Montero getting it done defensively as well, robbing Domagoj Zubac with a beautiful save right there. Late in the game, Croatia gets a bit of payback here as Pero Manalo goes down pretty easy in the box as well. Looked like a bit of a phantom call, but Croatia got burned earlier, so I guess that evens it up. Zubac takes it and scores, and that's how this one finishes up. Vastly entertaining game from Centennial Stadium. A 1-1 final. A Brampton keeper Christian Montero with the lone goal for B-Town. Zubac with the reply for the Croats. Okay, BSC Academy taking on the Toronto Atomic Selects in open group action. Atomic draw first blood. Handball called right here on BSC. So, yeah, Atomic goes to the spot. Dario Blezak slams home the penalty, and it's 1-0 for the Blues. Soon after, though, BSC gets it back on a nice one. Armando Oakley breaking in, scores, and a little celebration there. It's a 1-1 soccer game. Second half, BSC pulls ahead. Sloppy defending by Atomic here. They pretty much completely ignore Charles Keefe out front. He makes it 2-1 BSC. And then it's McKnight with one of the goals of the week, setting up Keefe here. Beautiful little moves. Easy little tap in there, and it's 3-1 for BSC. Looking good. But then it's Atomic getting BSC scrambling deep in their own end. BSC wanting and waiting for an offside call. Well, you can't do that. And they get taken full advantage of by Atomic. They burn them 3-2 BSC. That's as close as Atomic would get them. So BSC looking good in their Super Group debut. Romario McKnight was man of the match for BSC, scoring one and setting up another beautiful goal. Okay, SUPERNOVA FC taking on the boys from Epic. Okay, great goalkeeping early on. Michael Mano with the beautiful save here from in close on SUPERNOVA. Nicely done. And it's still scoreless. Epic draw first blood off the free kick here. Jean-Francis Nkono, absolute beauty the way he controls it. Lays it down, smokes it home. And yeah, I say that's worth a little dancing there. 1-0 Epic heading into the dressing room. Second half, though, SUPERNOVA equalizes. Dave Edwards sneaks behind the goalie there, scores, and then gives the fans a little something extra afterwards with the backflip that I could never even attempt. But then we just got the tail end of this one. Malcolm White makes it 2-1 for the boys in orange. But then SUPERNOVA get dropped inside the box, no question about it. They go to the spot, but Mano, check this out, massive save to keep his team in the lead. Late in the contest, though, Albert Sumai with the gorgeous solo effort for SUPERNOVA. That was the game saver for them to get them a point. 2-2, your final, and a wild one from Centennial. The Open Super Group living up to its name on this day. 3 fantastic games to open up the first weekend of Open Group action. CAF countdown time, the top 5 plays from this first weekend in CAF. Number 5, and you just saw it, Michael Mano of Epic with the massive penalty save against SUPERNOVA to save a point. Number 4, ADP under 14's Matthew Radosova with the steal and the absolute bomb from 25 yards out. Top shelf where mama keeps the pistachio nuts. Gorgeous. Number 3, BSC's Romario McKnight does all the heavy lifting here. Beautiful little moves against Atomic. Lays it off for Charles Keefe. McKnight with a goal and a helper on Sunday. Number 2, any other week, this is your number 1 play. Epic under 16's Ronaldo Marshall going through Pace FC like a warm knife through butter, and that is pretty to watch, but this had to be number 1 this week. Pace keeper Zach Vesnever with the absolute larceny on Epic's Andrew Vilcini, not once but twice. Take another look. The first one is great. The second one is out of this world. Definitely our CAF play of the week. And that is it for this week's show. Just remember, you can always keep up to date with what's happening in CAF. There's lots of different ways you can do it. The website is cafsoccer.com. On Facebook, Canadian Academy of Football, and on Twitter as well, @CAF_football. Thanks so much for watching, folks. We'll see you next week.